Okay, hi everybody, it's Alison from Engli-teach. How is everyone? I hope you're all doing good and that you're learning lots of English, because right now the world is in shutdown and I'm here to help you learn more English and get better at your English if that's what you want to do. Now, before we start on our lesson today, I want you to go along to engli-teach.com and I want you to download our free book, which you can do when you open up your free Engli-teach Access account, okay? In there, you get lots of goodies that are free from Engli-teach, written by myself and lots of other wonderful English teachers who want to help you learn English. So let's get on with the lesson. Okay, today's lesson is all about modal verbs. Modal verbs. Before we go on, let's just look at what modal verbs actually are. Let's look at some examples of modal verbs before we start to describe their function and, more importantly, how you use them in English. Now, modal verbs are words like would, could, should, will, shall, must, will. They are all modal verbs, and modal verbs have different meanings, and you can't use two modal verbs in a sentence. That would be weird. So why do we use modal verbs? Well, let's have a look at 4 reasons why you need modal verbs and how you use them. First of all, modal verbs give extra meaning to the verb that often comes after the modal verb. For example, you must pay for your goods before you take them. So must is the modal verb. Let's just zigzag that down. Must is the modal verb, and pay here, pay is the verb that follows. So what you're doing is you're giving extra meaning. You're giving an instruction. You're not just saying you pay for your goods before you take them. You're saying you must pay for your goods before you take them. It's a very clear instruction. The second way we use modal verbs is to give emphasis to an opinion. So, I must admit it was a frightening experience, or, I must admit it was a frightening experience. Obviously, your tone of your voice, you know what I'm like about tones of voice, your tone of your voice can add extra emphasis to this. Use your voice widely when you are speaking English. We're not robots. English is a beautiful language. Be expressive with your tone of voice. Number 3, even. You can use modal verbs to emphasize that something is a good idea, and quite often this can be used in lots of different ways. Reporters will often use modal verbs to convince or persuade readers that something is a good idea. And if you're interested more on that, scoot on over to engli-teach.com and we have a whole section on modal verbs and how reporters use it in writing inside of our platform. So let's look here at how we can also use English modal verbs to emphasize that something is a good idea. We must go and have dinner in that restaurant. I have heard so many good things about it. We must go. So here again, we have must. We must go is much stronger than just saying we could go, which is actually also another modal verb. But we must go is emphasizing that you should do something. You should go there. So go to the restaurant. Apparently, it's very good. So, meaning number 4, to make an assumption to reach a conclusion, a logical conclusion about something that is very likely to be true. For example, if someone runs a race, a long race, like a marathon, they're going to be tired at the end. That's logic. We all know if you run lots, you're going to be tired at the end of it. Now let's look, let's look at how we use the modal verb here. After running that marathon, you must be so tired. Be is obviously the verb, and must, the modal verb, adds again extra emphasis along to it. Okay, everybody, so we've just taken a few brief 5 minutes today to learn more about modal verbs and how we use must. To learn some more, come along over to Engli-teach.com. I would love to see you there.